Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking to Jason Wong. Jason, it's great to connect with you, CEO of Paking Duck. And your logo, if you go to pakingduck.com, we make really ducking quality packaging, get factory direct pricing on paper, plastic, glass, and metal packaging for your brand. It's amazing to me, where I'd love to start this conversation, the power of packaging. You go into, I'll use Apple as an example. Everything is packaged impeccably. It's beautifully packaged. It's simplified. It's minimal, and you just love buying stuff from Apple. You go into, let's say, any place that sells alcohol, the bottles, the packaging that differentiate themselves. I know statistically, sales are typically go up based on packaging, and so just kind of kick us off on, the space and time it takes for people to rethink their packaging.
100%. Well, John, first and foremost, thanks for having me on your show. I'm super excited to talk to you about, this entire industry. And I think, to your point, it is the first impression that people make with your product, right? But it's often an afterthought. No one really thinks about packaging. When was the last time you thought about it, right? So it's very interesting, because a lot of people don't think that packaging is actually a revenue driver. Right? They just think that it's a protective layer, but it actually can make you a lot of money if you do it. Think about going through TikTok or Instagram or YouTube and scrolling through those reels. On those unboxing videos, the thing that catches your eyes first is the packaging box, right? And so we've seen brands who are improving their packaging, and it usually takes a month or two to get it made, and in doing that, they're able to increase their revenue, increase their click-through rate, increase the amount of people who are posting about the product just because they're changing their packaging.
So, you said people don't think about it, and I hear you. I don't think people think about it. But why isn't it one of the first things people think about?
Because you're just so used to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You buy something, you take it out of the box, you toss the box away. But what you don't understand is that subconsciously, you made a decision when you looked at the packaging on the shelf, right? You're walking through Walmart, you're walking through the aisle, you're looking at a deodorant. There's 9 different options for you, but your eyes gravitates toward the deodorant that you pick for 2 reasons. One is you already are familiar with the brand. Like, you like Old Spice, so you're going to pick it anyways. But if you weren't going to pick something already, you're looking through the packaging to see which one can convince you that they're the best, right? The way that they make their words pop, the colors pop, right? How they design and lay out the packaging to make it feel more masculine, to emphasize on the scent. These are all the things that these brands are doing to get your attention, but you don't realize that.
Yeah. So what does somebody do who's listening to this and they say, well, I really thought about, or I haven't thought about packaging enough? How do they go back to the drawing board? I mean, is that something that you consult people with? But regardless if they consult with you or not, what is the process of them figuring out what packaging is right for them?
Yeah, so we work with our clients to understand what is the use case. Are they going to retail? Is this a DTC brand? Is it on Amazon? Figure that out. We look at what is the packing configuration. How do you pack it? Do you just throw it in a box, or do you put it on an insert? Do you wrap it nicely? How is the unboxing experience for the customer? And so I think the first step that any brand owner needs to do right now is, one, ask yourself, are you happy with where you're at right now? And if the answer is no, then okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's talk about what is the intended outcome for you to change your packaging. Is it to save money? Do you want to reduce the weight of it so it ships lighter? Is it you want the design to pop more on retail shelves because you're going to Target? Okay, let's design for that too. Or is it you want to make it into a revenue driver on social media because you want more people to talk about it? And so there's certain things that we can do to design that experience to make more people talking about your packaging. So first, to go back, is one, understand if you need it or not, and two, understand what is the intended outcome of you to redesign your packaging.
Yeah. So let's talk about you for a minute. You started your first business, from your bio, I see, at 14 years old. What'd you learn at 14 still doing today?
Yeah, my first business was in marketing. I was 14 years old. I was in affiliate marketing. And, when you're in the marketing, there's no one really checking your ID to see if you're old enough to do marketing. You just have to do a really good job at it.
Yeah.
And so I was I was using blogs, I was using, different publishers, and I was selling a lot of affiliate products. Think like supplements, think clothing, think, service products or info products. And all those skills translate into what I do today. It's just everything that you do in life is selling, right?
Yeah.
So I think affiliate marketing and affiliate marketers is, I believe, the rare breed of marketers that can sell anything, which makes them the most powerful marketers. Because if you're doing marketing for a well-known brand, let's just say you're doing marketing for AG1, AG1's got to sell on its own. But affiliate marketing, you don't own the product that you're selling. You have to be very, very creative with how you're selling it. And so all those skills I learned when I was 14, I'm still using it today.
So let's talk about sales for a minute, because I agree with you. Everything is sales, everything is marketing. There's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of products that come up in everybody's feed, depending on what you spend more than, X amount of time on, So we talked about packaging, but let's rewind that for a moment and just talk about sales. What are, maybe the three most important sales skills that every salesperson needs?
Oh, that's a really good question. Number one is building rapport. You either have or you don't. There's some people who just cannot get that right. So I think if you're able to get someone comfortable with you, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is, I would say, communication. There's a right way and wrong way of communicate, and there's like a long way and short way to communicate. And I think the best salespeople know exactly how much to say in order to convince you, and not a single word more.
Yeah.
And number three, I would say, is closing. Closing is calling to action. I've been in many, many sales meetings myself. Even in my early days, I didn't know how to close, because I would just go on and on about why we're the best, why we should go with us, but I just didn't know how to close them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, what I realized is that you have to let them close themselves, right? You have to position yourself and the service that you're creating to be such a need that they basically jump into your lap and say, hey, give it to me. There's no CTA that you need to say that will close them better than letting them jump into your lap and do it for you.
Yeah. I'll add to that, getting really good at asking questions and being an active listener.
Mm-hmm.
Know what the next question is, right? So to me, selling is a lot of the things that you talked about, but it's first and foremost asking versus just, I think sometimes people think who are new to sales is telling, but there's, active listening, and making sure those questions get asked.
I agree with you.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite sales books?
I actually don't read any sales books. Everything that I know about sales comes from trial and error and watching people.
Yeah.
I'm a big, like you say, active listener. When I first started in the business, I was 14. I didn't have anyone who was mentoring me, but I was somehow able to squeeze myself into certain rooms with incredible people, different entrepreneurs that I admire and respect and look up to. And that was my lesson. That was my course. I didn't take a course. I just be around people that I find inspiring.
Well, I mean, you're an observer, right? And so I think, you learn sales by doing, by observing, by being around people, by picking up, what they're doing, what works, what doesn't work, the pause, the tone. When you think about kind of, some of the skill sets of watching some of those people, take us back into that room. What were some of the things that they did, whether it was, the pause, what were some of those skill sets?
It was their ability to take you on like a car ride, like a nice car ride. And so I think in any great sales and any great speech and public speaking, there's usually a ride that they take you, right? They warm you up, they get you engaged, and then they show you like really, really shiny things that get you hooked. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And they make you ask questions of like, how the heck did they do that? It's almost like a magic show, right? A great sales pitch is like a magic show, in my opinion. And so it's everything that you mentioned. It's the pace, it's the pause, it's the information that they give, but there's always a wow factor into it, right? The wow factor of like, holy crap, they did that. How did they do that? Well, boom, they explained exactly how they did it. I think the best magic tricks are like the ones where they show you how they did it. You know exactly how they did it, and you're still amazed by it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also kind of, through a lot of things that we talked about, the asking, the understanding that every situation and every person and every company is different. but taking people to a space that they can get to on their own to raise their level of awareness on how something makes sense for them, and then creating kind of like that destination, and then bringing them, when to your example, when the car ride is over, they understand, what they need to answer their pain, and the product or the service, etc. And so now, just kind of like, let's go back to talking about your packaging, and we talked a little bit about sales and soft skills, and being an observer. So now, you have all that, but you now bring out the product, and if the product doesn't connect with someone visually, then it's off. And so how do you work with companies to kind of match those two?
I look at what is their first brand guide. So we have to stay true to their brand direction, their colors, their fonts, their layouts. And then the number two that we look at is, okay, what is the intended usage of this packaging? Are we just selling this on DTC, or are you selling this in retail? And if we're selling this in retail, we need to make sure that everything that we want the consumers to know in the first 3 seconds of looking at our packaging is the first thing that they see. It has to be the biggest thing. I would say like the best example is looking at Oakley. Oakley as a packaging, the oat milk company.
Sure.
Their packaging from the get-go was just like every other milk company. It didn't really feel like they were different. They didn't feel like an alternative. They just felt like another milk product on the shelf. And then they went through a rebrand, I think back in 2017 or 2018, where Oakley was the biggest thing that they saw in the font, and everything else was small fonts. And I think that was around the time where like oat milk or alternative milks were really coming into play. But like when you walk into the shelf, their words were the biggest next to all these other milk companies, other oat milk companies. So you knew immediately that they're the top choice because they're the biggest. It's just what goes into your head.
Yeah.
So in the same vein of how we design packaging for our customers, like we want to think about like what is that thing that we want to call out immediately, and how do we design the packaging around that?
Yeah. Talk to me about AI. How are you using AI in your business? Not only, from a visual standpoint with, what you're creating, but also the back end, the operations, and how you're just running your business.
100%. We started using AI about 3 years ago, back in 2023. And we've had that ingrained in every part of our business. From operations, we built our own dashboards, our own ERPs, managing our client orders. We understand, what is every touch point of the clients, every single thing that happened. We get summaries, we get reports. On the content front, we have AI making our videos. So if you go onto your Instagram right now, Instagram @Duck, every single one of our videos are made with AI. I clone myself with an AI avatar, so it looks like me, it talks like me, and it moves like me. And I'm able to feed it all these scripts that I'm writing with the help of AI to churn out 1 or 2 videos every single day. And no one in this industry, in the manufacturing industry for packaging, is pushing out the amount of videos that we're pushing at the level that we're doing either. And so we're getting tens of millions of views across social media platforms using AI produced content that looks like I made them.
And what software, what are you using to do that?
Yeah, so for creating avatar, we use Nano Banana. So Gemini's Nano Banana, we create a version that looks like me. And then we use a platform called Hixfeel. Hixfeel, it's basically an aggregator of AI models. So you could use like VEO, you can use Kling, you can use ChatGPT. There's a lot of different models that Hixfeel uses, but it's basically one platform that can create photos and images for you, or photos and videos for you. So like content is fully AI, but it's manned by 5 people. So it's basically a team of 5 humans co-pilot with all the AI tools that we're giving them. So it's not just like I'm giving a bunch of AI bots to do my work for me. We're just making our humans work even faster and even better with the use of AI. We're using it in finances to catch anything that we're missing out on. So we do human review, and then we use AI review. You're going to notice that everything in our company, even though we have AI, it's really a co-pilot. It's not a replacement for anyone.
Yeah.
We're still hiring people to do the work that they're doing, but we're integrating AI tools to make them work faster. And the way that I think about it is I want to build the Iron Man suit for all my employees. Every single person should have an Iron Man suit to work faster and better.
Yeah. Well, and it allows, what I'm hearing you say also, and I'm seeing this in a lot of companies that I work with and coach, it allows AI allows higher level thinking with the humans that are actually working.
Mhm.
So I think that's great. Let me ask you a question. What are some of your other what other AI tools are you enjoying and using?
Clawbot that came out about a month ago, and I've been just using it every single day.
Yeah, tell me what you're using it for.
So Clawbot, for everyone who is not familiar, is basically an AI agent that can work 24/7 and do repetitive tasks and do things for you on your behalf. I basically built three versions of it. I built a engineer, so this AI bot, I can tell it what I want to build, and it'll just build for me. Literally, me recording a voice memo of what my ideas are, and in 5 to 10 minutes, it's done. There's a website deployed. I also have a creative director, quote unquote creative director, that I tell them what kind of pictures I want to create, and they'll create a best versions of it based on the parameters I set for them. And then I have a junior developer under the engineer. So I have an engineer bot that manages another bot for engineer. The top bot, it's more of an architect that creates a vision and roadmap for the technology that I'm trying to build. And then there's a junior bot that builds the products, and then the architect bot QCs it. There's a loop where they work together. And then I have a chief of staff bot, and that's really like my catch all for anything and everything. Um, Things like checking prices, sending out contracts, give me daily briefings on like what's going on around the world. Every time before I get into a meeting, I get a little report on who I'm meeting. So like 10, 20 minutes before this meeting, I got a report on like what your podcast is about, who are you, and give me a little bit of context and things that I typically would have to do manually, but now it's being done on a repeated process. So I'm very excited about how much time that saved me. It's tremendous.
Well, what I love about what you're talking about is it's saving you time. It seems to be doing the research to make you smarter so you can show up more prepared, but also you still are hiring and have a team of people to make sure that both are co-piloting, that they are co-pilots of the AI.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of fear right now that, AI is going to take every job. I don't think that. I think it's going to move more to how you're using it, Jason. And that's how I'm seeing really successful companies utilize it as well. So I think that's great. For people who are scared of AI, what are your thoughts?
You either are scared and get left behind, or you adapt, and it's the unfortunate reality, right? I think when it first came out, everyone's like, well, it's cool, I can kind of make a AI generate image, I can get it to write my essay.
Right.
But now you're thinking about, wow, a lot of the content that I'm consuming right now are actually AI generated, right?
Yeah.
I think I saw a report recently that in the last 3 months there has been a few 100% of increase of app store uploads, like people making apps with AI. So like the apps that you're using on your phone right now might even be entirely code with AI. So that gives you the perspective of like, okay, if everyone around you is making money, making their lives better and optimizing with AI, why aren't you? Like, why are you scared about it? Because if you're scared about it, you're not going to learn. If you're not going to learn, you're going to get left behind. And that's, to me, is a more fearful thing than AI itself.
Yeah, it's great. Where's your company 1 year from today?
I think we'll be more of a technology company than a manufacturing business. I think right now and 2 years ago, we're a pure manufacturing business, but in the years to come, we're going to integrate a lot more technology where we're refining our internal processes, but we're also building tools for other manufacturers. And I think that's where our business is going towards. We don't want to just be a factory. We want to be a platform for factories.
Great. Quick speed round. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received?
Ooh, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Biggest lesson in business that you've learned?
Um, Fire fast, hire slow.
Your favorite packaging, favorite product of packaging of any? What's your favorite packaging out there?
This is cheating by Apple.
Yeah,
Can't beat it.
they're the best. They're the
Yeah.
best. Finish this sentence. One thing everybody needs to do when they look at their packaging today is
How can I improve it through design, through structuring, and through better supply chain?
tell everybody who your ideal clients are and where they can connect with you, Jason.
Yeah, our website's Paking Duck, PAKINGDUCK.com. We're also on Instagram at DUCK. Our ideal customers are anyone selling products. Like literally, if you're selling anything and needs packaging, we make that for you.
It's great. Jason, this was great. I appreciate your insights that not only on your business and the power of packaging, but also using technology and understanding as you forecast out that your company is going to ultimately be a technology company, as I think most companies will be.
Yep.
And it's really, really important in community, like Jason was saying, and we talk about it a lot on this podcast, we need to adapt. We've been talking about adaptability for some time. There's many articles over the last couple of years that have been talking about colleges teaching adaptability because numbers that they were using that by the year 2030, there's going to be 85% of jobs that are around that nobody knows what they are necessarily going to be. And so colleges are really having to, dial in with that and teach adaptability. And adaptability is something that's going to keep people ahead. We need to embrace technology and the evolution of how our business is growing on a day-to-day basis. Jason, this was great. Appreciate your insights. Thank you so much. Think community, you can reach Jason at pakingduck.com and you can reach me at johndwoskin.com. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for having me.